To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Lockhart Perspective. Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah. Everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Lockhart Perspective.
Well, hello, everyone. It's so good to see each and every one of you. We've got a really jam-packed show tonight, and I want to tell you guys, we have been talking about it. You and me and everybody that comes here to the show, we've all been talking about it. We've all been saying, hey, who's minding the shop? Who's watching the store? How come all of these recalls are going on? Well, tonight we're going to find out because none other than Politico has done an in-depth investigation. And I'm so glad because now we are going to peer through everything that they saw while they went through their investigation piece by piece. They have at least 50 people who are former workers of the FDA, and they're going to lay it all out there. So we're also going to look at a few, especially after the validation that we're going to get from these two pieces from Politico. We're going to look at a couple of recalls. Yeah, and we're going to keep looking at them now that we know what we're about to know. So I'm going to go ahead and get the screen set up for you guys. And I want to say hello to everybody. See who we have over here that's saying, hey. We have Stephanie. How are you? We have Cyrene and living in Missouri's outdoors. Yes. Okay. So here we go. Let's go on ahead and we're going to look at this, you guys, because, hey, we've been saying it. We've been saying something is afoot. Something's a foot, a leg, a thigh. Something is afoot. Hello, Ryan. How you doing? It's good to see you. All right, you guys, let's just get into it. So Politico did a story on what we do here a lot, and that is talk about the recalls. But what they did is they went a little deeper. They went a little deeper because they did a complete investigation. And what this investigation led them to find was that the F in the word, or the FDA alphabet, or the letters, really stands for silent. There's no F in it, is what they say. It's a silent F. All right, so listen to this. By the time, I love the way it builds the chilling story. Let me turn this background music down just a bit because it builds a chilling story for us. There you go. All right. So it says, by the time the FDA officials figured out that it was spinach that was making people sick in 10 states, sending 3 people into kidney failure, it was too late. It was mid-November 2021, and the packaged salad's shelf life had just passed. There was no recall, and by the time the FDA officials got inspectors on the ground, the spinach season was over. Of course it was. And the fields and the production facilities were empty, which made it impossible to pinpoint the source of the contamination. Whatever caused the outbreak was likely never fixed. This wasn't supposed to happen. It's been more than 11 years since Congress passed a sweeping food safety law designed to prevent this type of health risk. In that time, the FDA has failed to put in place safety standards for the water used to grow the fresh produce, as mandated by that law, despite knowing that the water is one of the main ways that fresh fruits and vegetables become contaminated with deadly pathogens. It goes on to say that Congress has ramped up the FDA funding over the past decade, but deadly outbreaks keep happening, and it often takes the agency too long to respond. Many consumers would be surprised to learn this anemic, slow response is typical for an agency that oversees nearly 80% of the food in America's supply, or the American food supply. But slow is what insiders in Washington have come to expect from the FDA, regardless of the administration. A months-long political investigation found that regulating food is simply not a high priority at that agency, where drugs and other medical products dominate, both in the budget as well as bandwidth. A dynamic that's only exacerbated. It's only been exacerbated because of the pandemic. Okay, that's what it says. All right, only exacerbated because of the pandemic. Now, I want you guys to think back. What are some of the ones that we covered? I know we covered the baby formula. We covered some of the products that you put on your body. We've covered the ice cream. We covered a lot of them. But what they're saying on this is that irregardless to whatever we know about or we've seen, we probably know about it before they know about it. So over the years, the food side of the FDA has been so ignored and grown so dysfunctional that even former FDA commissioners readily acknowledge the problem in interviews. Quote, "The food program is on the back burner to me. That's number one," said Stephen Ostroff, who twice served as the acting commissioner of the FDA. And he held several other senior roles while working for that particular branch of the government. He also goes on to say that when Politico went and did this, or when they spoke to Mr. Ostroff, he was so eager to discuss the agency's problem that he prepared a laundry list of his concerns. He says, quote, "There are a lot of things that languish. There's really nobody pushing very hard to get them done, in the same way that you're pushing very hard to get the COVID vaccines out and get them out there and get them authorized." But we saw that, right? We don't have that imperative and that pressure to actually make things happen on the food side of the Food and Drug Administration. So Political's investigation found that the Center for Safety and Applied Nutrition, the little-known food arm of the FDA, has repeatedly failed to take timely action on a wide range of safety and health issues the agency has been aware of for several years, including dangerous pathogens found in water used to grow the produce and heavy metal contamination in baby foods. The agency has been slow to acknowledge numerous other chemicals of concern, including PFAS, so-called forever chemicals, which can be found in the food supply and are used in packaging the food or the food packaging. FDA has dragged its feet on the major nutrition issues, even as diet-related diseases rate in the United States. And they've continued to worsen. For example, the FDA has spent the better part of a decade working on voluntary sodium reduction goals for food companies, while many other countries have already moved ahead with their own. Years ago. That's sad. Something as easy as monitoring salt, we got a problem with it. Well, Scott Farber says they just kicked the can down the road. He is the senior vice president at the Environmental Working Group who used to work for the food industry's top trade association. He says we're global laggards. The government dysfunction has a real impact on people's lives. The CDC estimates that more than 128,000 people are hospitalized and 3,000 people die from foodborne illnesses each year, a toll that has not lessened after a sweeping update to food safety a decade ago. A recent outbreak tied to contamination in the baby formula. Remember, we were talking about this. A recent outbreak tied to contaminated infant formula, in which at least 4 babies were hospitalized and 2 little precious lives were gone. They passed away. They said that it's a stark reminder of what's at stake when the food safety system fails. The first hospitalization was reported to the federal health officials 5 months before the FDA and the former formula maker Abbott Nutrition finally recalled the product in what would become the largest infant formula recall in memory. By all accounts, the country is also in the middle of a diet-related disease crisis, something that made millions of Americans even more vulnerable to severe illness and death from COVID-19. Even before the pandemic, poor diet was one of the biggest drivers of healthcare costs and premature death in the United States. This is not your run-of-the-mill, slow-churning Washington bureaucracy. Food and Drug FDA Foods Division is so slow, it's practically in its own league. For this story, Politico spoke to more than 50 people, including current and former FDA officials, consumer advocates, and industry leaders. Some were granted anonymity to speak candidly. There is a remarkable level of consensus that the agency is not working. Current and former officials and industry professionals use terms like ridiculous, impossible, broken, Byzantine, and a joke to describe the state of the food regulation at the FDA. There's no question that the agency isn't meeting the moment, said Sam Cass, who served as the senior policy advisor on nutrition to President Barack Obama, and was the key figure behind First Lady Michelle Obama's childhood obesity plan, the obesity campaign. During the Obama administration, the FDA was able to get some significant things done, including an update to the nutrition fact labels to disclose added sugars and ban trans fats, and a new requirement to list calories on menus, actions that FDA had mulled over for years. Requiring calorie counts be posted on chain restaurant menus was such a long slog, it took 8 years from when Congress asked for the policy as a part of the Affordable Care Act to when the labels were finally put on or implemented in 2018. The requirement was temporarily suspended during the pandemic, so you just got it in 2018, and then 2 years later, the requirement gets temporarily suspended during the pandemic. Don't you think that's possibly a time to definitely keep it on? Well, I guess not to them. Anyway, the next paragraph goes on to say Cass, who's now a venture capital investor in food startups, acknowledged that many of the issues facing the FDA are complicated and tough to work on, but the lack of progress can be maddening. He said there's a real need in this country to put pressure and regulatory oversight on an industry that's producing food that's undermining the public good. So for this reason alone, they need to leave us alone and let us do whatever we want to do and get our food our way. But have you not noticed that what goes on with this type of situation is they were closing down during the pandemic, they were closing down places for people to go and buy seeds. They even had them all blocked off, while in Michigan, they had them blocked off. I don't think so. They had them all blocked off. All right. You couldn't even get seeds. So I think that they're doing everything they can to make sure that this program is going exactly the way they want it to. In my opinion, this is exactly what they want it to do. Hey, William Craig, I do crypto too. How are you? Okay. So let me go back on the other side because I came on here to see you guys. Ryan, I see Rage Against the Machine. Hey, and David Bruce. Hey to you. Who else am I missing? Okay, that's cool. All right. So, yeah. So basically, I think that this department is really working the way that they want it to work, especially in light of everything else that we've seen. It says a political investigation found that there are basic structural problems that contribute heavily to the current failure. FDA is housed under the Department of Health and Human Services. And boy, did you guys hear the recording from Becerra? Oh, wow. Just last week. I made a special recording of that with what he had to say, but I am going to play that in a few minutes. So the FDA is housed under the Department of Health and Human Services, which means the commissioner, while Senate confirmed, isn't part of the cabinet. The FDA commissioners almost always come from the medical side and historically have almost no experience with food issues. A mismatch that means big policy questions can get bogged down in the layers of approval before them. There's a long-running joke among the FDA officials that the F in FDA is silent. Commissioners have also been known to slip up and accidentally call it the Food Drug Administration, the Federal Drug Administration, which is what it is, the Federal Drug Administration. Here's what I think is about to happen. They're probably going to exegete this food part out of this and make it its own division. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to have a whole lot of stuff that's going to be funneled through there. Mark my words. They're going to move the food part out now that this goes public. Okay. And when they move the food part out, they're going to get it over here by itself. That is going to be when they start to push, or they'll have more availability to regulate this, Xeroxed meat and the meat that's going to be created. That's what they're doing. This whole story, this whole piece, all of this stuff right here is to get us on board with it, to get us all on par so they can divide it out. This is what I think. So they can divide it out, and then as soon as they divide it out, it's going to be specifically for the new foods, for the weird foods, and all that stuff. Even the what do we talk about, the celebrity foods? It's going to be about all of that. So it says that commissioners have also been known to slip up and accidentally call it the Federal Drug Administration. Aside from a relative lack of interest in food issues, there's also been a straight up lack of leadership at the FDA. The agency has had 5 commissioners in 3 years. Now, any other company, somebody who's doing all of that hiring, they would have been fired already. 3 of whom have been acting. So they haven't had oh, wow. So you've had 5 and 3 are just acting commissioners. That's not good. Robert Califf, a cardiologist with a clinical research background, in mid-February became commissioner, a position he previously held for about a year during the Obama administration. It had been more than a year since the agency had a Senate-confirmed leader, even as it was under extreme pressure to work on vaccines, tests, and treatments during the pandemic. Aside from the lack of attention to food at the top, there are also unique problems with CFSAN, the branch that handles food issues. The division, which is dwarfed by the medical products side of the agency, suffers from deep-seated culture, avoiding hard decisions and near-paralyzing fear of picking up serious fights with the Food and Drug Administration. Now, I hear all of this. All of that sounds nice, but here's what I want you guys to see. This is the part that I want you to get. There's going to be some takeaways. And here are the takeaways right here. It says the takeaways from the investigation into the FDA's Byzantine food arm, right? We're going to look at the takeaways. So some of the takeaways is that food is not a high priority at the FDA or the Food and Drug Administration. And the second part is the dynamic has only been exacerbated during the pandemic. The FDA regulates nearly 80% of Americans' food supply. And each year, according to an estimate from the CDC, 128,000 people are hospitalized. So that's another part of the takeaway. 3,000 die from foodborne illnesses. They published a deep dive, and we just went through that. And the food division has structural leadership problems. So what is the issue? Where is our money going that we're putting towards this? Well, I think the deal is they've got so many lobbyists pushing for them to get through with all of the vaccines and everything else that's making them money. They don't even care about the food. Let me look over here and see what some of you guys have to say about it. Hiya, Jack Walsh. Just a question. Alrighty. Billy Joe's Mo says the FDA was made to help us. They would never have allowed high fructose corn syrup as a food additive. 100%. 100%. 100%. The FDA corporate financial gain over citizen health. Exactly. And like we said earlier, it's just a way for them to make sure that they get everything that they want to get through from all of these lobbyists that come through and say, hey, I've got this drug, I got that drug, I got this drug and that drug. Poultry plants are mysteriously burning down. Government arson. See what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? John Adams says, a voice, headlines with a voice. Remember the deadly pet food from China. Yes. Food safety on the back burner for pets. And yes, you, the human, that's absolutely right. I didn't even think about that, but I do now. Remember it now. Same for artificial sweeteners. That's exactly right. The artificial sweeteners, all of these things that are passed. And that's what gets me. Now that we're seeing this story right here, we're hearing people say, well, it's FDA approved. It's FDA approved. Well, what does that mean if nobody's minding the store? What does FDA approved mean if there's absolutely nobody checking on anything? Now, one thing I'd like to say is that at the very top of the political story, the political piece, it did make a very good point, and that was that the spinach had already passed. The whole entire season had already passed. And another major point is the fact that the baby formula was 5 months before they actually took action. That's terrible. That is murder on the highest level. On the highest height, it's just murder. Okay? We're all smart enough to know obesity was their objective. Compare cost of eating healthy to fast food, to the fast food model. Absolutely. what do they have, like burgers for $1 and it doesn't even look like burgers. They look like little green patties, little bitty green patties. They don't even look like food to me. Some of them don't. You know what I mean? When I lived in California years ago, we used to eat at this place called In-N-Out. They made great burgers. I don't know what they're doing now, but I know several years ago, they were pretty good. The artificial sweetener was my initial red pill almost 20 years ago. Wow, really? I can't eat them at all. I can't eat any of those at all. I immediately get a terrible headache. I can't eat that. I mean, an immediate headache. If it's even anywhere near my tongue, it's an immediate headache. Terrible headache. Yes, it is. Soylent sandwiches. David Bruce says Soylent sandwiches. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to look at a couple of the recalls because I feel like, yeah, it is serious when you consider that we have been looking at these and we have been talking about this and we've not come down from this because I have felt, and I know most of you who've been tuning into those recalls, I have felt that we've had to make ourselves a committee of one. We had to make, and now this is the proof that we had to make ourselves a committee of one and put it up here and say, hey, thus and such is gone. Because you know what? I think a lot of times people would think, well, we don't really need to listen to anything anywhere else where somebody is talking about it. The FDA will tell us, or the government will tell us, or they'll put it on the news. And we see that's just not true. So we have to make ourselves the committee of one and make sure that we do what we need to do. So zucchini. All right, zucchini. They were talking about the water that they should know is supposed to have protection and that the water does not. The water is not protected. Okay, so we're going to look at zucchini. Let's look at zucchini. All righty, right there. Zucchini. There's zucchini. There's zucchini. There's zucchini. Okay, it says the zucchini recalled possible health risk. All right. So the World Variety Produce Incorporated voluntarily recalls organic zucchini. Just let that sit there. Because of possible health risk. The company announced on the April the 19th, which is a couple of days ago, and the food is, of course, product type is food and beverages. And the organic homegrown food, wow, what a name. And it's got some type of illness to it. So let's just see what it has. Looks like foodborne illness. Reason for the announcement, salmonella. So you want to do good, you're eating zucchini, and you have salmonella to boot. The company name is World Variety Produce Incorporated, and the brand name is Organic Market Side. Now, wasn't those Market Side salads that were available at, I think, was it Kroger and I think Ralph's or something like that? So the World Variety Produce Incorporated of Los Angeles, California is voluntarily recalling a case lot, and here is the number, it'll be down below in the description, of organic zucchini because it has potentially contaminated with salmonella, an organism that can cause serious and sometimes fatal effects in young children, frail or elderly people, and others with weakened immune system. Healthy persons infected with salmonella often experience fever and diarrhea, which may be, as you can see what the word there is. I don't want to read it because they got us the last time we read the inside of the parentheses. All right, so you can see all of that there. But the organic market side zucchini was distributed through select Walmart stores in Arizona. It keeps hitting that region. I don't know what they got about y'all over there in Arizona. I have no clue. But it says Arizona, Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, and it just spreads out from there. You can only imagine it just spreads out. Okay? Yep. Yeah. Is a partner with all of them are. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. Did you know that there's almost nobody that you can get anything from that's not a part of any of this stuff? That is the sad part. That is the sad part. Everybody got something to do with something. Everybody. And that's amazing. That's amazing. So let's go on ahead here and see what else has been recalled. If you like bacon, I don't eat bacon, but if you eat bacon or if you eat tortillas, those things have been recalled as well. So let's look at the bacon products because we did do a tortilla recall a while back, and I'm not sure if it's the same one, albeit we will see when we get into it. April 16th, 2022, Firehouse Jams, LLC, an Irwina, Pennsylvania establishment is recalling approximately 709 pounds of preheated, shelf-stable, uncured bacon marmalade products that were produced without the benefit of federal inspection. Wait a minute. They were produced without the benefit of federal inspection. But we just got through seeing they don't inspect nothing. Right, Magic Carpet Ride? All right? They don't inspect nothing. So what on the planet? And that's exactly right, Zach. Exactly right. However, our brothers and sisters here, somebody might like a nice piece of crispy bacon. So we're not going to shut them down, but we are going to let them know that if you're using this uncured bacon marmalade with oranges and balsamic caramelized onions, the product was produced on July the 10th, 2021 and March 1st, 2022, as well as December 3rd, 2021. And the following product is subject to recall. A jar containing Eat This, Yum, Wow. Eat This, Yum. I can't make this stuff up. Uncured bacon marmalade with oranges. All right. And there's the lot numbers, the lot dates. The product is subject to recall and it bears the establishment number of this right here. And the problem was discovered when the FSIS was notified that the Office of Inspector General of the complaint received through the OIG hotline. The FSIS investigated the complaint and determined that the products were produced in an establishment that was not inspected by FSIS. It's probably because they already know you don't care. All right, it goes on to say that there have been no confirmed reports of adverse reactions due to the consumption of these products. Anyone concerned about the reaction should contact a healthcare provider. But what have we already said? You guys know, we already know over in this piece, we know over here that it doesn't matter if nobody says anything because people are so sick. According to what we've been talking about, they could be sick from a plethora of things. Doesn't necessarily have to be what they ate for dinner. It could be anything. The products that you put on your body. There's even bubble bath that's been recalled. All you want to do is just say, hey, let me get in this bathtub. Some take me away. And what happens? It's even got a recall. So they're out to get you. I'm sorry. I can't say it any other way. What else could there be? If you have a whole entire arm that doesn't even investigate anything, and here we're the only people reading these things. And they look at us like we're crazy, you guys. They look at us like we're nuts because we come here every now and then and read recalls. We're not crazy. None of us are nuts. So the FSIS is concerned that some product may be in consumers' refrigerators or pantries. Consumers who have purchased these products are urged not to eat them. Don't consume them. Don't touch them. Don't put them near your lips. Don't eat it. I promise something gonna happen. These products should be thrown away or returned to the place of purchase. And then you're going to get some dodo standing there saying, you don't got your receipt. I don't know nothing about no recall. We'll take nothing back if you don't got your receipt. So FSIS routinely conducts recall effectiveness checks to verify recalling firms notify that their customers of the recall and that steps are taken to make certain that the product is no longer available to consumers. When available, the retail distribution list will be posted on the FSIS website. I don't even know why. Boy. Okay, we already talked about the popcorn. I don't know if there's any more popcorn, but it talks about popcorn, and I'm not sure if this is the exact same tortillas. The tortillas. Here goes some tortillas. The salsa Texan issue, allergy alert, and recall expansion for the undeclared wheat and milk in tortillas. This is the company. This is the date. Company announcement was on the 15th of April, and the FDA published it on the 15th of April. I'm sorry, but one of these days should not be the same. The FDA date should not be the same, but it is. The type, of course, is food and beverage allergens. The reason for the announcement is undeclared wheat or milk, and if you are allergic to anything, then you know how imperative it is to know that there is wheat or milk in a product that you are allergic to it. You want to know this. All right. So the Salsa Texan of Flower Mound, Texas is voluntarily recalling. You guys know I have, I can't tell you what the name of it is, but it's that thing where I see stuff backwards. Anyway, so it's always been with me since I've been a little girl. So when you hear me doing that, you guys, that's what's up. All right, so the Salsa Texan of Flower Mound, Texas is voluntarily recalling all regular and burrito-sized packages of tortillas labeled as coconut flour tortillas and blended flour tortillas because they may contain undeclared wheat and milk. People who have allergies to wheat and milk run the risk of serious life-threatening allergic reactions if they consume these products. They sure do. Yep. They won't be able to breathe. Throat will close right up on them. Nonetheless, here is everything that you need to know. It will be down below in the description because I really want to get over here to where they were saying to take me away. I want to look at this bubble bath recall. Babygenics. They are really after the babies, aren't they? They are really after the babies. Babygenics issues a voluntary recall of select lots of Babygenics 20-ounce chamomile verbena bubble bath bottles due to possible bacterium. The company announced it on the 19th of the 19th of April, and the FDA went one day behind them on the 20th, which was yesterday. The product falls under the category of cosmetics, and the reason is a bacterium, Pluribacter Georgiovia bacterium. Now, if there are any physicians, doctors, people who work in the medical field, coders who know how to say that, break it down for your sister, please. Just break it down right there in the bottom right where you put your comment. Put it the way you would say it so I can get it. Anyway, it goes on to say that the company's name is Babygenics brand, Babygenics. And the product description is, again, the chamomile verbena bubble bath, which sounds like something that would be so relaxing, and how terribly demonic for them to have this inside of a baby product. So it goes on to say that during testing internal related to the product, the shelf across, oh, help me, Holy Spirit. During internal testing related to the product shelf life across the Babygenics bubble bath line, it was discovered that 2 specific lot numbers of this product contain the bacterium. While infants may be more susceptible than adults, Pluribacter, this other word with the G, Giovia, does not usually cause healthy individuals to become sick. However, it may pose the risk of infection to those who are immunocompromised or who have broken or irritated skin, such as a diaper rash. Boy, this is demonic. I'm sorry. I cannot say that this is accidental anymore. All right. Somebody needs to really honestly pay for this. I mean, the government really needs to get themselves together. They really honestly do, because apparently some of these companies do have the idea or the knowledge that ain't nobody gonna check. Put it out there, and then we'll say we're sorry later. Just get it all out of here, and we'll apologize later. Sell as much as you can, recoup what we've lost, and then later on we'll apologize. We're not gonna ask for permission. We're just gonna apologize. The only products affected are Babygenics 20-ounce chamomile verbena bubble bath with this UPC code, and it will be down below in the description. And it's found at the bottom of the packaging and contained in a white plastic bottle with a green plastic lid. The products were sold in the last 2 months only at select retailers in the United States. Well, who are the retailers? Our testing confirmed that no other Babygenics products have it in there. Okay, so where are the stores? Where did you sell it? You dirty dogs. Does anybody see it and I'm not seeing it? Is it just me? I don't see it. At select stores, but you don't tell us who. How wicked is that? Babygenics takes pride in its commitment to vigorous consumer safety standards and providing peace of mind for parents, which is why the decision was made to voluntarily recover these bottles from retailers and to proactively reach out to consumers. Well, no, you're not being proactive. And even though you say you're doing it voluntarily, how helpful are you if people don't see this? And if you don't put it out there to let us know which retailers it was, so that folks like myself and others here can share that information. So basically, you still not taking a loss. You are still not going to take the L. You're not. Because if you were, You already know ain't nobody going to see this. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. The consumers who have come into contact with the affected product and aren't feeling well should contact their doctor. But we're not going to tell you where we sent it. We're not going to tell you how many products it was, how many bottles it was. But here's the Babygenics phone number. Wow. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because it impacts babies. And babies can't always tell you what's going on with them. The same way a lot of women and men who had their children, okay, because there's a lot of single dads out there that were taking the formula, were probably screaming at high pitches, and the parents did not understand or know why. And it was because the children were ill. Okay? We need to shut this whole country down and go in and take a couple of road trips. What we need to do. Okay, so pain relief cream recall due to poisoning. All right, so here's the pain relief, and I think I saw this one the other day. Yep, Hempvana. Yep, Telebrand recalls the Hempvana pain relief. It has lidocaine in it. So you want to be careful because the lidocaine, if a small child rubs it on their body, it will not end well. All right. Okay, it does not have a child-proof container. It's supposed to be child-proof, but they didn't put a child-proof container on this. And I think we read this the other day when we were talking about it. The pain relief cream turmeric with lidocaine, which is so counterproductive. But anyway, I digress. Hempvana pain relieving hand and body lotion with lidocaine. Wow. This must be another one. So you guys, I think that's so tacky and it's so terrible, but it's our country. And when I saw the fact that the Politico had done this great deal and told everybody what was really going on, Congress asked the FDA to regulate the water to keep deadly pathogens out of it. 11 years later, it still hasn't. 11 years later, it still hasn't. And now this cat here is running around trying to tell everybody about censorship on social media. Why don't you try to, since you still want to walk around like the janitor who, is gone, like the janitor who had his retirement in the cafeteria 2 Saturdays or Fridays ago, with all the keys still on his ring and one big shoe and one little shoe, who just cannot leave the job. Since you still hanging around, why don't you go back and find out why this isn't done? Or get your wife to go take care of it, since, she's the one who was pushing the whole eat healthy kid thing. Yeah, and they started eating cardboard at the schools after that. All right. In December of 2021, the FDA put out an updated proposed rule to address agricultural water, but the rule has not been finalized or implemented. Why this matters? Well, because foodborne illness outbreaks keep happening, and it often takes the agency too long to respond. As more people become sick over the past decade, there have been several major outbreaks tied to fresh produce, including some deadly ones, tied to the contaminated water, which has long been known to be a major source of contamination. All right. A bit of a black hole is a section of this story. You guys can click that and watch that. But they did say that the FDA made very little progress on keeping toxic elements out of the baby food. The FDA had worked hard. The FDA has had a group working on this for a minute. Okay, focus on the toxic elements in the food supply since 2017, but has taken little action, even as concerns about the heavy metals and the toxic elements in the baby food have been repeatedly flagged by the health groups in Congress. Why mothers, fathers, aunties, grandparents who's had some child that gone through something, sue all the way up the food chain, pardon the pun. No pun intended. Sue all the way up the food chain. Sue everybody. Throw everybody in there. And who's not supposed to be accounted, the judge will throw them out. But you need to sue all the way up to the president's office. You need to sue all the way up. Sue all the way up. Yep, all the way up. Sue them all. Sue them all. Sue them all. Sue the FDA. Sue the other little arm that's supposed to take care of this. Sue the baby formula department company. Sue all of them. Even sue the store. Sue everybody. And then you're going to hit the right one. A hit dog will holler. A hit dog will holler. So they said that they were responding to enormous outside pressure. The FDA in 2021 committed to setting standards for lead, cadmium, mercury and arsenic in some baby foods, but the timeline for action spans several years. Wow. Why is this important? Well, it's important to keep babies' exposure to heavy metals and other toxic elements as low as possible because they are particularly vulnerable to development and other effects. Lead exposure in children can cause behavioral problems and a lowered IQ. I'm going to shut this down. You know why I'm shutting this down? Because we already know this stuff is on purpose. But we need to quit talking about the problem, and we need to try to figure out a way to correct this. Okay, we need to Hey, Black Spring, Timothy Contreras, how are you? Derek C. Williams, hello. Can you guys believe this? Okay. Can you believe? Maureen Olson, it's good to see you, sis. It's good to see you. I'm really saddened by all of this. I don't even want to read anymore. I don't want to see anymore. I don't want to see anymore. I don't. Yeah, so now we know that we are not crazy. We've not been tripping. We've been accurate in our assessment. And we here at the Headlines of the Voice family, all of us in the chat, we've been following these. We've been talking about these, all of us. And we've been sharing it. Remember the big one that we did on all the seasonings? Having arsenic and what else was it? Cadmium and something else was in there. A whole bunch of stuff. So we've been watching this and we're going to continue to watch it. So what you guys do is the link that's going to be down below in the description. I want you guys to make sure that what you do is you take those links and you share them with as many people as you can, because a lot of times people are not able to know. They don't know. Because as you can see, we have to help the FDA out a little bit because they're not telling everybody because, well, they just don't know. Right? They don't know. Well, you guys, it's been the best almost hour. It always is good hanging out with you guys. We're going to come back this Sunday. Oh, actually, no. That's over on the Lockhart Perspective on Sunday. But if you want to hang out with us over there on the Lockhart Perspective on this Sunday, we have a special guest, which is Ronnie.d.Mann. He will be with us. And you guys are welcome to come on over. You really are. Eventually, we're going to, we've already on the back end merged part of this stuff together. So it'll all be merged here really soon. So that'll be a good thing because we'll all be able we'll all be in one spot. But anyway, let me see who's here so that I can say hey to you. Let's see who's here, who's new that I've not seen. Let's check it out. Let's see. Okay, we said hey to Mr. Timothy Contreras. We've said hey to Black Spring with Autumn, Maureen Olson, Chick Pot Pie. I love that name, Chick Pot Pie. I read a year ago that a special fecal matter ingredient is sprayed on poultry as sort of a preservative. I think I read that in an article, right? Oh, wow. If you find that, please bring it to me because that would explain why every time you turn around, people are getting sick and run around with pink eye. Because pink eye comes from that. When you put your face where it's not supposed to be, when you put your face in pots of chicken that you're not supposed to be eating and doing all that, that is how you get that. Yep. Hey, J Love. Hey, J Love. You're moving to Mexico. You're done. J Love said, I'm cooked. I'm moving to Mexico. You tired with it, right? Exactly, YZ. We've got to do that. We've got to do that. We got to take matters on our own hand, and that's what this is. We're learning and we're seeing what's available for us, and we see exactly what information. You are so welcome, Black Spring. You see the information that's there, you go take it and you share it with family members, and you make sure that you check your cabinets and all of that. Now, remember what I shared with you guys the other day about the products that we were discussing that were like, underarm stuff and deodorant and, adult body stuff for men. Those things I saw in a store for 99 cents. Yep. So you got to be careful because I guess they were supposed to destroy them, but I guess they don't know we know. So they put them in a store for 99 cents. And I told you guys about that the other week. So take a long, hard look at everything. Now, we are about to get out of here. And before we do, first off, I want to thank everybody who has supported this channel. Thank you guys so very much. I want to thank you for all of the cash apps that I've received. Thank you so much for the PayPal. And I want to thank folks that have been putting the little thing here on YouTube. Thank you for that as well. You guys rock the Casbah. All right, folks. So we're going to take a quick look at something, pay a couple of bills, and we should be right back. Hello, everyone. It's me, Felicia of the Lockhart Perspective and Headlines with a Voice. I want to let you in on a great secret. Now, if you go to mypillow.com and put in my nickname, F-E-F-E, Fifi, that's the code that's going to unlock unbelievable savings for you at mypillow.com. That's right. You can go to mypillow.com right now, put in my code, and you'll be able to receive a great discount when you purchase products there. Here is an example. This is my pillow. And I popped one of these into the dryer, kept it in there about 15 minutes, took it out, puffed it around, pulled it and played with it. And after that, I slept on it. And when I tell you that it contours and fits me, nobody else. I don't want anybody else touching my pillow. And you're not going to want anybody else to touch yours in your house either. Listen, go to mypillow.com right now, and you'll be able to take great discounts off of the products that you like. And you may be shocked. You may find some products there that you didn't even know they carry. Well, if you got a pet, you may be able to find a pet bed. Yes, you can find a pet bed. You could also find that pet cover. If you have pets like we have that have their own personalities, you'll want to check out mypillow.com because you'll be able to find wonderful items for them as well. Listen, My Pillow is not just about pillows anymore. My Pillow has the most unbelievable sheets. I have the bed sheets. I have the 3-inch topper that's on top of my bed, and let me tell you, I sleep like a baby. So won't you consider taking an exceptional discount as well as getting a free gift when you go to mypillow.com and putting in the code FEFE. That's me, Fifi, at mypillow.com. Now, let's get into the video. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you for that Black Spring. I so appreciate that wonderful, wonderful offering. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, girl. You helped me keep some bills paid around this piece. Thank you. Thank you. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and head out, but I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. Please remember to go down below in the description as soon as this is published and pull those links and share them with your family friends. Also, you may want to go ahead and share with your family or friends that wonderful offer, the code that we have right down there, which is the mypillow.com. And give them the code Fifi and they'll save a bundle just like you will. All righty. It is so good to see you. Now, you know what? Why did you change your name? You can send me an email and tell me why. You can email me and tell me. All right. You guys all know my email address. It's Felicia at FeliciaLockhart.com. Again, that's Felicia at FeliciaLockhart.com. Hey, listen, a lot of people send me stories. Did you know that? They'll send me stories. They'll send me emails with videos, links to them. So that way, all I've got to do is go and check it out, and I may run the story. We're trying to get the mailbag button. You guys don't know anything about it, but we had a mailbag for a long time, and the button broke. And I just saw it again when I was over in Shutterstock, and I saw it. And so I'm thinking about dragging it again so that I can make it work. So you guys, whenever you send us mail, we hit the mail button, and that's what happens. All right, everybody. Again, Black Spring with Autumn, I want to thank you so very much for that offering, and you guys have a great night. I want you all to remember what we always say here on any of the Felicia Lockhart Group publications, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. You guys take care of yourselves first, and then you can proceed throughout the cabin and take care of everyone else. Until we see each other again, please continue to be blessed.
Lockhart Perspective.